Well, Happy New Day, CSA. How feels each and every one of you this wonderful, lovely new day? How feels beautiful, handsome, enlightened, and fantastically prosperous and healthy you this wonderful, lovely new day? Well, I welcome all of you to today's program with so much love. Last week we started with the 5 observances and we treated 3 of them. We treated purity, contentment, and self-discipline. We today would like to look at study of the nature of consciousness and surrender in God. We said that as a result of purity and cleanliness, one is inclined to avoid contact with possible causes of contagion. And then, as a result of mental purity, one experiences serenity, cheerfulness, power of concentration, control over the senses, and fitness for the direct perception of God. And then, as a result of contentment, one experiences supreme peace and happiness. And as a result of purification and self-discipline, one experiences perfection of body, the mind, and the senses. So today, we have to look at the nature of consciousness, the study of the nature of consciousness. You know, I shared with you that during my stay with my guru at CSA headquarters in Lakemont, Georgia, one day he traveled to Japan on a lecture tour. And after we saw him off, I went back to my house, and whilst in there, I had a burning question which needed an answer. And I used to go to him to ask him questions, looking for answers. And he always asked me, Samuel, what is your take on this question that you have asked? And I will explain my understanding and what the answer is. And he will tell me, well, you see, you know, but you always like to hear my version. I said, yes, that's why I'm here, to study under you. But this day, I started from the house and I had to go through some woods to the pond, the fish pond. We had a fish pond at CSA, and then rush up to the meditation hall before I would get to the back of the meditation hall to his office. But when I got into the woods, I just remembered that he was not around. He had left for Japan. And with the disappointment of knowing that he had left for Japan, I turned but was quiet. And then suddenly the answer popped up in my mind with this realization, you know, Roy Eugene Davis is not the body. Roy is a state of consciousness. And if you can move your attention to that state of consciousness, you know whatever he wants to teach you, or you will understand whatever he is teaching you. I was thrilled And from that day, I started meditating deeply to surrender my attention in God. And I had a lot of useful realizations. And so later, when he wrote this book, The Science of Kriya Yoga, The Teachings of the Masters of Perfection, Volume 1, which is his commentary on the Yoga Sutras, I understood the part of study of the nature of consciousness. Because, look, God is expressing us all things. And if you train yourself very well, you'll be able to see God in all things. You see, we have a quote here that through the study of the nature of the world as consciousness and through correct use of mantra, one experiences direct insight into that which is examined. When we have our consciousness merge with supreme consciousness and we look, Jesus said, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy mind, and with all thy strength." And the second one is, "Thou shalt love your neighbor as yourself." How do you see your neighbor as yourself? Paul said in one of his letters that now we no longer know Christ through the flesh. He was talking about awakening to the nature of Christ as consciousness, And this is what all of us must know. We must know who and what we are, where we have come from, why we are in this world, and where we go from here. You see, if you have not realized your nature as consciousness existence, then you are wasting your time in all of your studies and all of your coming here. You must meditate until you awaken to your nature as consciousness. And where have you come from? Last Thursday I shared a message with the participants of the Thursday class. I told them, in our ordinary lives, we have our hometowns. When you are asked, where are you from, you mention your hometown. And then you have good, heavy relatives supporting you from your hometown. And sometimes you hear people, "Hey, you mean you know where I'm from? If you do, and I go to my place and I come back, what you will see, you will not like." And people get scared. But why don't you know that your true home, where you have really come from, is God? You are from God. You are God in expression. That is where you have come from. Your hometown, so I used to have this conversation, I don't call it argument, conversation with my earthly parents. They tell me that, "Oh, you are from Obokwa," and I tell them, "I'm not from Obokwa, I'm from Accra." And they ask me why. I said, you are telling me that you are from Obokwa because that is where you were born. And did you give birth to me in Obokwa? You gave birth to my body in Accra, so Accra is where I'm from." Then when they talk, I ask my dad, "You Is your father not from Mpraiso? And he moved to live in Obo. That is not where he comes from. And that was it. But you see, the same way, when you look at this world and you know that you have come from deep inner space and your real place is from supreme consciousness, that is where you are from. And you must do this examination. You must examine your true nature. Like Paul once again said, examine yourself. Know ye not that Christ Jesus is in you, except ye fail to pass the test. Examine yourselves. Know where you have come from. And you will find out that that consciousness which is expressing as this world is the same consciousness which is expressing as you. And if you take it that way, when you examine everything, you know that when you look at gold, you know that every gold trinket that you see has come from the same source. No matter where it is mined, its source is from the same place. Look, the paper that was used to write the Bible on every holy book is also used to write news. It's used as newsprint to write the news. But when you begin to know that everything is from one source, the problem of life, the challenges of life becomes an opportunity for you to express your true nature. And in expressing your true nature, you find why you are in this world, to awaken to what you are and to express what you are. That makes this life a better place than you came to meet it. Because you see a lot of ignorance and suffering and other things, and who do you want to correct that if you are not willing to put your hand to the plow to that correction? You see, last when we came here after the heavy rain, I think that was two Saturdays or a Saturday ago, when I walked in here on Sunday, I saw that there were some leakages on the roof. And I knew some of you also saw it. And I said, well, we will call the roofer. So immediately we closed. I went to my office. One CSA member came in. I said, use your phone to call him, because if I call him, he will not answer. He will think that I want him to come and work on his mistake for free. So he called him, and then the first ring, he answered. And then he said, hold on. And I said, Raphael, you know, I have called you twice. You have promised to come, but you never came. Today, I'm telling you, if the ceiling gets damaged, you repair the roof and you go to find the right material for the ceiling to repair it. And so I need you here at your earliest convenience. Tell me when you'll be here. He said, okay, I'll call you tomorrow or Tuesday to let you know when I'll be here. I was there on Tuesday morning. When he called me, he said, I will be there tomorrow. And he showed me the materials they will use and also how much they will charge for the repair work. I said, okay. So on Wednesday, he came in and I asked Mr. Ishon, Reverend Ishon, to let him in, and they came in, they observed whatever. And then they told me, you see back here, there are some stains there. He said what is needed is broken tiles. The smooth broken tiles should be laid from north or from east to west. on both sides, and that after we've laid that, it will stop, because when they came, they poured some that water, what do you call it, sachet water, they poured one sachet water and it went in, it didn't settle, it went directly in, all of it went in. And so which means that whenever it rains, it leaks right into the block work, and that's what's caused the stain. You see, in communicating with people, don't communicate as different people. Communicate as you communicate with yourself. When he lifted his phone, he was on the defensive. You see, then I said, oh, I understand you. You think that I will let you come and work to correct your mistake and I will not pay you. That is why you are not coming. That is why you are dodging. But who said I was not going to pay you? I'm calling you to come and repair. When you come, the materials that you use, you don't get it for free. You buy them. And your energy is a current energy. So I will pay you. And so I paid him. He was happy, but he lost our key. I gave him the key, and he said where I asked him to put it, he said he put it there, but I've looked for it on several locations. I looked for it on Thursday, I looked for it yesterday, and even this morning. Can't find it. So we are buying a new lock. You see, in study of the nature of consciousness, it helps you to understand people, it helps you to understand the world. You understand the world, because when you are dealing with people, you know, okay, there are 7 levels of consciousness. The grossest one is the one that makes you feel that you are the body. And then the second one corresponds with the second chakra, which makes you feel you believe in ghosts and other things. And then the third is the realm of cause and effect. A lot of our professors and other people in academia rest on this point. They don't move any further. But the fourth point is the realm of self-realization, awakening to your spiritual nature. And then the fifth is to master yourself. And then the sixth is corresponding to the third eye, the Christ awakening. And then the seventh is supreme consciousness. And so there are mantras that are used to awaken all these centers. And we have shared this mantra. Those of you who have been initiated into Kriya Yoga, and even those who have not been initiated into Kriya Yoga, I've shared these mantras here. You remember when we sat and we did Lom, 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 Lom? You remember? You are shaking your head. If you continue doing it, it will awaken you to the different centers, and you will know that from supreme consciousness you come to Christ consciousness, and to the master, and to the self, and then to what do I call it? Actions and reactions, and then to a little confusion, and then to the grossest, which is the physical. You see, there are mantras you can use. I remember when Roy was sharing other Kriyas, there was one where this chant, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. there is a way, that you draw the current, and then you use Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya to let the energy drop. And they were all practices to know where you have come from and the various levels. You see, whatever it is that you are examining, if you just stop using your conscious mind level, but you observe it and let your attention go through to the reality of it, you will know that this is God expressing at a particular point of view, communicating with you. You will not miss it. And you can practice that until you become perfect, and they will say that, as for this man, when you are talking to him, be careful, he knows everything in your mind. No. You know where the person's level of consciousness is. And as you communicate with that person, he or she will come to understand you, And from that, you surrender in God. You see, surrender comes when in war. Some people say life is war, right? In war, when you find out that the power coming is greater than what you can give, you say, okay, I raise my hand, I surrender. I once wrote a chant because I found out that I was fighting and running away from God. And I wrote this chant from that particular state of consciousness. I surrender. I said, with such an amazing love, with such an amazing love, you caught me in your web of truth. I can't find no way of escape, so I surrender. I was having a direct talk with God. I said, with such an amazing love, you've caught me in your web of truth. You see, when a spider traps a fly in its web, first it sees that it's trapped, and then the spider begins to consume the fly, and it gets to a point when the consumption is taking place, you don't know where the fly stops and the spider begins. It becomes one with the spider. And so I said, with such an amazing love, you've caught me in your web of truth. I can't find no way of escape, so I surrender. And that chant was my feeling and experience at that time. And over the week, one CSA member from outside the country called me, and we're talking, and he mentioned surrender, and he said when he's meditating and he wants to surrender, how does he, or how should he go about it? I said, you see, give your attention wholly, because sometimes when you are meditating and you are even using mantra, it gets to a point you don't give your attention wholly to the mantra, but you tend to follow some thoughts which come into the mind. But when you surrender, you give your attention wholly to the mantra. If you are listening to sound, give your attention wholly to the sound. If you are seeing inner light, let your attention merge in the light. Let the light take you, it's like have the inclination to know what is beyond the light or what is beyond the sound. And once you have given your attention to it and surrendered your attention to it, it leads you to its source, and you find out that its source is supreme consciousness. You see, it can aid in your ability to learn about the nature of consciousness through practice. And this we have been taught. All that I'm telling you is not anything that has not been taught here before. But you see, today is sounding new to you. It's sounding new to you because you hear it, but the thing is that practice it. Yogiraj Lahi Mahasaya said, practice. One day you awaken. It is not reading about it or having the information and then you look at it one day and then forget about it the rest of the time. No. Engage in constant spiritual practice. Let your attention go deeper and deeper during your meditation. Paramahansa said that whenever you sit to meditate, even if it is for a short time, go all the deepest that you can go, than saying, okay, I'll wait till Saturday and I'll meditate all day, and Saturday you sit down and then you'll be hearing the Yokogaruma, hey, Gobe, and you throw your attention to Gobe and not to your meditation practice. See, every day, in every way, go deeper and deeper into your nature as consciousness, and you will learn more about yourself. That is what self-realization is about. Self-realization is not about you reading and saying that you are a spiritual being, then you say, okay, I'm a spiritual being, and that is not your experience. In fact, after I heard that day that Roy was a state of consciousness, I saw him differently. And I saw why Paramahansa Ganandaji used to tell his disciples, you tune in with me and you tune in to God. Because he is God in expression, just as you are also God in expression. And Sri Ramana Maharishi once said that, see, when the student first starts searching for himself, he will not believe it if, he's told that, what he's looking for himself is inside. He will not believe it. And so God directs him to someone who knows him, and then that person redirects the person's attention to himself and makes him awaken to the truth that lies within. They say, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. The he that is in the world is not the devil. The he that is in the world is your physical being, which you think is something. Because if you don't think your physical body is something, you will not say, you know who I am? Looking at your societal status. You know who I am? I say, yeah, I know who you are. You are God, but your experience is not. That is what you are. You are truly God when I see what you are, but your experience of yourself is not. And we can silence a lot of people who walk around asking people, do you know who I am? If you are the headmaster or the military man, will you not die? Will you not go through that? Will your body not go through death? When your body goes through that, you will see your true level. You witness your true level. And so let us all, these observances, they are very, very good. You see, we focused on the niyamas and then the observances. The observances actually awaken us to the presence of God in our lives. You see, in the niyamas, they say you should not steal, you should not harm, you should always speak the truth, make wise use of available energies, and be non-attached. It's showing you what the way you should live your life. And then these observances actually mold us, makes us the strong people that we are supposed to be. And when you learn what you are, and you know that you have come from God, and know that you are here to experience and express God, and you know that when you leave this space, you are going into inner space where you have come from in God. You don't fear to live anymore, but you will live the highest way possible. And so I invite you to what Brahman Suganandaji told Roy Jean Davis when he was a teenager. He said, Roy, you have to live anyway, so why not live the highest way possible? And that has led me to give you lectures on the science of ultimate living I call soul. We'll be looking at that also very soon. And I thank you for lending me your ears. Namaste.